Hey everybody, it's John the Other here, obviously. And this video, which is just an audio recording, is going to be driven by the comments section of my last video. And the reason for that is there's a pretty lively discussion going on in that comments thread, and a few people have said stuff that kind of really does need to be addressed, specifically in the context of MGTOW, men going their own way. And I held off doing this because there was a guy in there who appeared to be genuinely uh, confused and have a genuinely mixed up perception of what men going their own way, what the MGTOW phenomenon is. And although I wanted to correct his impressions, I didn't want to publicly, make him feel foolish and shame him or have it be a personal attack against him. But I mean, the comment thread has been developing and he's been, actively participating. And it's really clear to me that he's clowning around in the comments thread and not even taking himself seriously. So I don't feel bad about what I'm going to say. He's not going to take it personally. He's already being a silly fucker. So specifically, we're talking about the terminology of alpha masculinity, the old labeling system where you say alpha male, beta male, which is it's a status hierarchy thing. And outside of MGTOW, outside of the men going their own way movement, just in regular standard usage, when you say alpha male or beta male, if you're not talking about the animal kingdom, if you're talking about humans, what you're really talking about are who is the first among slaves. Because these status labelings, like alpha is above, a guy who's in charge of or is socially elevated above what you would call, beta males, alpha, beta, right? The problem is, and in conventional thinking, that sort of there's aspirational thoughts towards alpha male. Everybody wants to be the alpha, right? In my mind, not if you are healthy minded. Only if you are delusional, only if you are sucked into a really self-destructive ideology. Because an alpha male is not at the top of a hierarchy. He is only at the top of a slave hierarchy. These signifiers of alpha or beta or whatever, or omega, at the bottom of a hierarchy, this is all identity conferred by women. An alpha male is simply the guy who is the most useful to women, the best provider of resources, the most useful dispenser of violence on their behalf. And the competition, the hierarchy of competition among men to be the alpha or to be in the beta group, which is like one down from the alpha but still above sort of gamma or omega or whatever. I mean, at least these labels are silly, but we're using them because they're conventional. When you apply this to MGTOW, it's a demonstration of total failure of comprehension, because this status hierarchy is a female-determined status hierarchy. This who's on top is who the woman says is on top. And so when you get somebody claiming to be, a practitioner of MGTOW, someone who self-identifies or is on a path of MGTOW, and saying, well, I'm an alpha MGTOW, and you're beta MGTOW, or this other guy's a beta, the first thing is he doesn't even understand MGTOW, because there is not that status hierarchy, especially not using these signifiers of female conferred approval. And the guy in the comments thread that we're talking about is claiming that he's a financially successful rich guy, and he's beds lots of women, so he's a sexual high achiever and he's a financial high achiever. He's in the comments thread of a YouTube video, right? It sounds like a 12-year-old with no experience in the world and no understanding of social dynamics bragging to other 12-year-olds who also don't understand anything, and the only people who will believe you are your other children. But it was also pointed out that this guy, a lot of the rhetoric that he's using and a lot of this tactics, he's calling people faggots and he's calling, people losers, and like it's a whole lot of conventional shaming language, which is, there we go, right? That's such blue pill thinking. It was pointed out by another user that this guy is using PUA, pickup artist rhetoric. Well, there's a long-standing rift between the pickup community and the MGTOW community. The most obvious feature of that rift is that in pickup artist, in PUA social ranking, the successful PUA is successful because he is approved of. He gains status by being approved of by women. Now, that approval is not conscious. That approval comes in the form of sexual access. But sexual access is what women grant to men as a form of social approval. So a successful PUA who jumps into bed with a lot of girls is ranking himself successful, ranking himself a high status, male, based on the conferred approval of women, which is where the MGTOW community has such a problem with it. It was like, no, we're not going to play that game. We're not going to allow ourselves to be status sorted by female approval. And MGTOW is pretty strongly the idea that men self-determine who and what they are in the community, in the like a self-determined identity rather than a supplied identity from without. So the idea of this alpha beta business applying to MGTOW is totally silly. It's ridiculous. Now the other objection to PUA from within the MGTOW community is that we are in such a litigious and easy culture. The accusation of sexual misconduct from a female is so easy and so consequence free that if you were to go and practice a whole lot of PUA techniques and go and try and pick up girls, and whether you're successful or not, I'm not debating that these techniques work. They almost certainly do work if you apply them correctly. The problem is that sex obtained in this climate, in this social and legal climate, is essentially playing Russian roulette with a drunken, drug-addled 20-year-old teenage girl with her finger on the trigger of the gun you're playing Russian roulette with. It's almost insanely self-destructive behavior for men to practice this in the present social and legal climate, which is why the MGTOW community, guys in that path, see PUA as so inimical, so antithetical to what they are doing as MGTOWs. But thanks very much for listening, and have a great day.